Hello everyone, good morning, I wish you're doing great. This lesson is about prefixes and suffixes, and let's start. First question we ask is, what is a prefix? As you can see, prefix is an affix which is placed before the stem of a word, according to the beginning of one word changes into another word. For example, when the prefix n is added to the word happy, it creates the word unhappy, and we're going to see many examples. In here we have anti, the prefix anti. If we add it to biotic, it gives us the word antibiotics. Antibiotic. The meaning of anti is against. So every word that contains anti in the beginning, it means against what the meaning of this stem in here. Another example with anti is anti-social. Anti-social. Let's read this example. It is antisocial or antisocial in some pronunciation to leave litter in public places. Anti-social. Another prefix is this. This has the meaning of not or the opposite. This means not or the opposite. So when this is added to a word, it changes the meaning into the opposite or not. As in the example, disappear. As you can see, the word is appear. Disappear. Disappear means not appear, or the opposite of appearing. They watched the bus disappear into the distance. Another example with the prefix this is dislike. Dislike. So this is like, I like fish, I dislike fish. I dislike being away from my family. I dislike being away from my family, which means I not like. The meaning of this is not, or the opposite. Another prefix is the prefix pre. Pre means before, prehistory. Preschool. School, preschool, before school. This kind of toy is meant for preschool children, which means children who haven't yet attended school. Preschool. Preview is the other example of the prefix pre. As you can see, view, preview, which means before viewing. The band will preview their new album next year. Preview means show it before. Let's move to another prefix, which is n. Un. Kind and kind. The meaning of n is not. So if you want to say not kind, you don't say he is not kind. You can say he is unkind. As in the example, she was rather hurt by these unkind words. Lucky or not lucky, you say unlucky. I repeat, Ahmed is a lucky person, but his brother is unlucky. He was very unlucky not to win. Another example of a prefix is this. We've already seen this. Let's see this example. Agree, disagree. Agree, disagree. The opposite of agree is disagree. Appear, disappear. Like, dislike. Now let's move to the prefix under. Under. Under means below. For example, weight. What is weight? The weight of a person is, I don't know, sometimes people weigh something like 80 kilograms. The doctor says I'm underweight. Underweight, which means below the normal weight. I should be between, for example, I should weigh 80 to 90, but I weigh 70, so I am, for example, underweight. Another example of the prefix under is underground. Ground, you know what is the ground? The land, the soil. The ground is below the ground, something underneath the ground. The house has an underground passage. In some old houses, they make underground passages. We already seen this, now it's miss. Don't mistake between these two prefixes. Miss and this. Miss means do something wrongly, in a wrong way. Mistake, as in the example, I feel bad about the mistake. Misbehave, the verb is behave. When you do behave wrongly or in the wrong way, it's called misbehave. Like in the example, she thinks I'm too soft on the kids when they misbehave. Normally kids, they always misbehave, which means they behave in the wrong way. Tidy, another example again of n as a prefix, like tidy. Tidy means organized, not tidy is untidy. Lucky, unlucky. Now let's move to suffixes. What is a suffix? A suffix is something that you can put after the root, after a word, and it changes also the meaning of that word. For example, achieve, the verb to achieve. What is the condition of achieving? Is achievement. In order to make a noun, you add ment, M-E-N-T, to the verb achieve. He has an impressive record of achievement. Another example would be argue. If you add ment, it becomes argument. So to make the noun with the verb argue, you add M-E-N-T, and that's argument. Develop, development. We add the same suffix, which is M-E-N-T, meant, to the verb develop in order to make the word or the noun development. Let's read this example. The new airport will facilitate the development of tourism. Another suffix is full, F-U-L, which is notable for, which means someone who is notable for being in such a way. Fear, fearful, someone who fears something. We call him fearful, or a fearful situation. People are fearful of rising crime in the area. Fearful, scared. Another example with full is painful. So here, pain, we add the suffix full and becomes painful. She had a painful cut on her thumb. This is the thumb. She has a painful cut on her thumb. Stress, stressful. Stress, stress. This is stress. Everybody knows what is stress. If you want to say someone, the adjective to make the adjective of stress, it's stressful. A stressful job, a stressful situation. She had a stressful job as sales representative. Now the opposite of full, not the opposite, but is less, which means without. So if you add less, or if you see less in a word, it means without this adjective or noun. For example, care, careless, careless, someone who doesn't care, or without care. The pupil was told off for being careless. Someone who doesn't have a home or without a home is called homeless. Homeless. Can you read this example? Can you spare some money for the homeless? Homeless means someone who doesn't have a home. Now let's move to another suffix, which is ly. Ly is related to the quality, related to something or the quality of something. For example, James sat quietly reading his book. So the adjective is quiet, but if you want the way he was doing it, it's quietly. So to make the adverb, you add ly. The same thing, quick, quickly, quick, quickly. The prefix, the suffix here is ly. We add it to the adjective quick, and it becomes quickly. He quickly scoop the money up from the desk. Now let's move to another suffix, which is N-E-S-S, ness. If you add this, is the state of being something. For example, sad. What is the state of being sad? It's sadness. For example, her eyes express deep sadness. To make a noun from the adjective sad, we add the suffix ness, which is sadness. Illness is the same example as sadness. He is ill, but the noun or the state of being ill is illness. Again, kindness. Let's read this example. I can't thank you enough for your kindness. So the noun or the state of being kind is kindness. The last one is ion. This is the suffix ion. It means the action or process of doing something. In the example of the verb revise, the noun or the action of revising is revision. So revise, you remove the E at the end of the verb and you add ion, becomes revision. Friday afternoons are left free for revision. The same example with decide, decision. Decide, decision. It was a tough decision to make. And thank you so much for your concentration and attention. And